Well, hey there, team. Hey there. Hey, how's everybody doing today? How you doing? Did you do the homework? Did you do the homework? Few housekeeping notes. Your homework, if you registered for this challenge, your homework will be sent to your email. If you did not register for this challenge, I'll be broadcasting live inside of this group every day this week at 12 p.m. Central Standard Time and 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm placing the homework in the featured section of this group. If you did not sign up for the Motivation and Mindset Fitness Challenge, then the homework is in the feature section. The reason to sign up for the homework, the reason to register for the Motivation and Mindset Challenge is to receive your homework easier. You would have to enter in your email address in the link that is in the group to register for the Motivation and Mindset Challenge, and then you will automatically easier receive the homework. All right. So how y'all doing? Did you take action? Did you all take action? And again, I won't be able to see any of the hellos. I love the hellos, so don't get me wrong. I love the hellos, but I won't be able to see any of them right now. And I'll be able to comment on any of you if you had challenges or trouble discovering your why. Yesterday was all about your why, right? Your why. And today it's going to be about uncovering your why nots. Your why nots. Um, I named this when I was creating the content for this particular day. I named this "What's Really Holding You Back?" because I want this to be the last fitness challenge and program that you'll ever have to purchase. If you're out there and you've been on the wagon again and off the wagon again, and I said, what really holds women back? Why do we yo-yo diet? Why do we go on and off the wagon? Why do we stick to a plan and say we'll start over again on Monday? Or why do we make a promise to ourselves and say, well, we'll start again in January? Have you ever caught yourself saying, I'll start tomorrow? That's none of you, right? Yeah, I'll start in January. I'll start Monday. Um, they all sound innocent enough, but anytime we tell ourselves we're going to start something, it is making a promise to yourself. So we're going to uncover all of the why nots here today so that you can overcome them and go on and become the most healthy, fittest, strongest woman on the planet. It's not that you're lazy. It's not that you're lacking. It's not that you're unmotivated. You're none of those things. You are the most purposeful person on the planet. And I'm here to help you to understand that. Um, here's a bit of story. I'll be telling you stories, and that helps the brain. It helps your brain sink in with the material that I'm teaching you. So I'm going to start off today with a bit of a story. And if you joined me on yesterday, then you heard a little bit of this story. What I've come to realize over the past 7 years that I've coached and trained, hundreds, thousands of women that I've met on social media. I ran into another one today in the gym. All of us are purposeful. It's just that we are met with circumstances in life and we didn't have a plan to get over those circumstances. So a bit of a back end of a story. I have a friend, and she really she's in pretty good shape. She wants to help her husband continue to run. He joined a running club, and she said, I want to support him, and whatever her why is and whatever your why is, that's perfectly all right. And her why is supporting her husband. Somehow we want to support other people more than we support ourselves, but that's perfectly all right. And she said, but Kim, I want to give up sugar because I find myself when I have a donut and coffee in the morning, I'm really sluggish. She uses the coffee for the energy, and she uses the donut for her breakfast before they go out on a run. And she said, "I don't understand why I wake up in the morning and I go for the donut with the coffee." She said, "At night, I make plans in my head and I feel really, really strong. And I tell myself in the morning when you get up, you are not going to be eat the donut. You're going to be really, really strong." And I said, "Well, what happens?" And she said, "Well, I don't understand why I do this." She says, "Well, when I wake up in the morning, I make my coffee, I have my coffee, and then I eat the donut." I said, "Oh, well, it's because you're human." And she said, "No, I know I'm human, Kim. I know that part." I said, "No, it's because one goes with the other. And your body says, 'Where is our donut?'" Your body, let me explain what happens. At night when she's laying in bed, she's feeling really super you feel really, really super motivated when you're laying in bed and you're making plans for the next day and you're telling yourself, "I'm gonna get up, I'm gonna go to the gym, I'm going to be my best self on Monday. When January comes, nothing will stand in my way. This is it this time. I'm gonna eat healthy." And then when you are faced with the challenge to do that, you're not in a comfortable place to make that decision. The night before, she was feeling really, really super motivated because she wasn't faced with the next day. When she wakes up in the morning, I don't know anybody who just feels like, "Yay, hey, it's morning time. It's 4 a.m." I don't even do that. So she didn't know how she was going to feel the next day when she made those plans the night before. She just told herself that she was going to feel super motivated. "I'm going to wake up in the morning. I'm not going to have the donut. I'm going to grab the coffee and then I'm going to run outside, run with my husband, and that is what I'm going to do. I'm going to be really strong and nothing is going to stand in my way." And the next morning, when she's faced with the challenge, she gets this feeling in her body. See, the problem with that is when we tell ourselves what we're going to do, and when she told herself what she was going to do, she was feeling super motivated and she was not faced with being uncomfortable. See, what happens is the brain and the body are totally two different people. Your brain does know what's good for it, right? Your brain does. That's why when you eat something or you told yourself something, your brain will say, but remember what you told yourself. And your body is like, "Give it to me. Give it to me. Give it to me right now." Because your body gets this feeling on the inside of it. This feeling, your body is designed for comfort. And you and I both, we have no control over it. For example, the most strenuous workout, when you're first getting into the workout of it all, you're like, "Oh my God," your body is saying to you, "What are you about to do? Are you trying to kill me?" Your body does not always know what's good for it. Even the most life saving surgery on the planet, your body doesn't understand that it needs the life saving surgery. Your body does not always understand what's good for it. Your brain does, but your body does not. So at night when she lays in the bed and she's feeling super purposeful and she tells herself early in the morning, "I'm going to get up and I'm going to be super purposeful. I'm going to be strong. I'm going to be motivated and I'm not going to have my coffee. I'm not going to have my donut with my coffee." The body doesn't have any feelings. The body doesn't want a donut laying in the bed at night. But in the morning, the body knows the donut goes with the coffee. So she said, "But I don't understand why I do this. Why do I tell myself I'm going to do one thing and then I end up doing another?" I said, "Because we are comfort seekers. That is how we were designed. If the body didn't was not designed to be comfortable, we wouldn't know when to stop. You wouldn't know when to stop running. You wouldn't know when to stop working out. The minute the body goes into this stressful situation, all of these alarm bells start to go off. And the same thing happens with the donut. The body gets a feeling. You get this feeling in your body, and your body says, "No, no, 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 no. What are you doing? What do you mean we're not going to have a donut with our coffee?" You know, and I know every morning when you get up, you have a donut with your coffee. She said, "Well, Kim, how do I move past this?" Okay, I get it. We're human beings. I said, You're right." I say to my friend, I say, everybody, you and I, we all have an ideology. An ideology is when you lay in bed at night and you envision yourself. You are this superhuman person. You see yourself with all of these abs, with all of these muscles. You see yourself in this career. You see yourself as this most powerful woman. That is your ideology. That is your ultimate self being. But this is where you are. This is the person you are today. And unfortunately, we can't go straight away to the person that you want to become. So I say to my friend, in order to get over this, in order to overcome this, because that is her why not? Why can't I get rid of this donut in the morning? Help me. I don't understand why I cannot resist this donut. I said, well, silly. It's because you have not created a plan. You have not created something to substitute out for the donut. You can't go straight away to the person you want to become. You have to replace it. And that's what people don't do a lot of times. They don't replace, she didn't replace it with anything. I said, so if I were you and you were me, this is what I would do. I would wake up in the morning and I wouldn't even have the coffee until I got to the office, right? Or I would have the coffee and I would go straight away out of the door and run with my husband. And then I will already have my clothes laid out, take a shower, and out the door. Or replace it with something else. Don't purchase the donuts. Just don't purchase them. But you can't go straight away to who you want to become. The same thing happens when we lay in bed at night and we tell ourselves, in the morning, I'm going to wake up, I'm going to feel really purposeful and strong, and I'm going to go to the gym. And that was my last day of skipping out on the gym. I'm going to go walking. I'm going to eat healthy that day. And you wake up the next morning and your alarm clock goes off. And then the dialogue starts in your head, and you're like, why did I say I wanted abs? And why do I want to be healthy? And what time is it this morning? It's because you didn't know how you were going to feel the next day. Maybe you were up all night with a loved one that was elderly. Maybe you have small children that were sick and kept you up. Maybe you had to stay up late to work on a project for work. Maybe you went to the bathroom all night. I don't know. But you didn't expect to feel the way you felt the next morning. And what happens is, and we all have an ideology, we all have this perfect picture of ourselves in our minds of who we want to become. But unfortunately, we don't live in our heads, we live in a body. The most perfect representation of ourselves lives in our head. And when we tell ourselves who we want to become, and when we don't show up as that person, we become, or you become, discouraged, and we don't like the feeling of it. And so we want to quit because our parents, and they were well intended. All of our parents were well intended parents at some point. It could have been a loved one, it could have been anybody in your life, but they were well intended. They made you feel like if you did not do what you said you were going to do right then in the moment, they called you lazy, you were lacking, you're never going to be anything. So when you start off on a fitness journey or you purchase a fitness program and those same feelings come up, oh my god, I'm failing, I'm never going to get it, you immediately say to yourself, like my friend, why can't I get this? I'm such a failure. Well, no, you're not. You are purposeful, and your parents were well intended. All of our parents were well intended. Um, Here's what has happened. When you woke up in the morning, you have reached a failing point. Maybe you woke up in the morning and your alarm clock went off. Nobody in this group has ever done this. The alarm clock went off and you hit the snooze button and you didn't get back up. And so you told yourself, here comes the dialogue. The dialogue is starting, right? Because your friends and family are asking you, well, how's that fitness journey going? How many days a week are you working out? And you're telling them, well, my alarm clock went off and I hit the alarm snooze button and I just didn't make it. And one day turned to two and two turned to three. And I just figured this thing is just not for me. The timing is not right. And I'll just start over again when the timing is right for me. Where here's what has happened. Um, you've reached failing points. We all reach failing points in life. You, if you have children, you have been a well-intended parent. But for us, most of us have been socialized to make us feel like if we didn't do what we needed to do, you needed to be punished, right? There needs to be suffering involved if you don't do what you need to do. So you turn around and you punish yourself with all of this dialogue. Oh, I know I shouldn't have eaten that donut. I feel so fat. You're never gonna get this. Look at you. You just eat. Look at you. You've gained 10 pounds. You haven't even gotten on the scale. Look at you did not do what you said you were going to do. You're and they were well intended, but you want to punish yourself because the more you feel bad, the more you feel like you can let yourself off the hook. So you reach some failing points. And I told my friend, I said, that's a failing point. And there are going to be many failing points in life. That is one of your why nots. You've reached a failing point. So you set your alarm clock, the alarm clock goes off, and the alarm clock is right next to your bed. You hit the snooze button. Now you have data to go with it. The next morning, you wake up and you try again because the process is all about trial and error. That is the process. The process is trial and error. It's not going straight away to your ideology. The person that you want to become has steps involved. Nobody goes straight away to the person that they want to become. You will have failing points in life. People will say, let me give you an example. Um, I've realized coaching many, many women, hundreds, thousands of women, coming across women in the gym and online and on social media in the last 7 years. Time is one of the biggest factors. And there are three reasons in Kimmy's world that women and the people in your life, the reason why you give up, there are three reasons. You could want it to want it, or maybe you want it and you're missing a resource, or maybe you don't want it at all. And let me tell you what I'm talking about. I became a Strong by Zumba coach. Back in 2018, 2017, somewhere along there. Maybe 2017, I became Strong by Zumba coach. And I trained and I saw this lady online and she had the most amazing, amazing muscles. And she was so powerful and so strong. And I told my husband, I said, I'm going to Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm going to train with this Strong by Zumba coach. And he was like, what is that? What are you coming up with now? I said, "No, look at her. I need Strong by Zumba to develop these strong muscles. And look at her. She's so powerful." So I hopped on the site and I purchased this program, Strong by Zumba program, an entire program. And I tried on what it would be like laying in bed to become this person. And I wanted people to look at me like they looked at Renee. Her name was Renee Pickett. And I'm saying her name because she's out there. You can research her. She's known. She's well known. And so I went to Atlanta and I trained all day. And I tell you, she bought me every inch of my life. I thought I met Jesus 3 times. Okay. I almost died training, and I looked at my body, and I said, "Well, I don't have muscles like Renee. Is it gonna take all of this, and why do I wanna become a Strong by Zumba coach?" And I'm gonna do it. I am really going to do it. I paid all of this money. I bought this program. I have driven to Atlanta early in the morning. I am going to become the best Strong by Zumba coach the world has ever seen. And so at the end of the training, Renee presented us with a gigantic manual and all of these modules I had to learn and dance moves and teach and syncing it to music. And I said, well, I was a cheerleader and I know downbeats and upbeats and counts, and I'm going to be able to do it. And so I got home, and every month they would send us new modules to learn. I mean, they were coming like every 30 days, you need to be able to learn. And within these modules, there were like 4 to 5 to 6 to 7 different um trainings because it was sync with the music, right? And so I remember standing in my kitchen at my computer saying, why do I want to be a Strong by Zumba coach? And why did I pay up? Maybe that money didn't mean a whole lot to me. It was only 300 and whatever, and I know we drove to Atlanta. And I know I told my husband that I was going to become a Strong by Zumba coach. And I don't know. And I got to learn all these moves. And then I have to pay for all this music. And I've been training now for over a year, Strong by Zumba, and the people really don't like it. And I'm beginning to get on their side, and I really don't like it. But I have to stay strong and become this strong. But I told myself that I was going to be, and I would look online and see all these people learning how, and I was in a Strong by Zumba community, and I would ask them, well, how's it going? It was like, oh, it's going great. I was like, really? I was thinking to myself, and they would say, Kim, how's it going? I was like, oh, it's going great. I'm learning the moves, yeah. And I was thinking to myself, oh my God. And I got to spend how many hours per day to learn all of these moves? It was like 3 or 4 hours a day. And how am I going to find the time for that? And so in 2019, the beginning, I said, I thought I wanted this. I wanted to want it, but I really didn't want it. Laying in the bed that night, looking at Renee online before I went to Atlanta and got all of the material and all of the things I had to learn to do to become that, I really could see myself in it. You try on what it feels like to be your ideal self before actually having to put the effort in to become your ideal self. You try on your ideal self in a comfortable moment. And then when you get the thing that you need to become it, you start to question because you didn't have the data. You're like, I don't know if I really want it. I don't want to become so. No, I don't. I bought the shirt. I said, well, let me just get the shirt, the clothing, and that'll make me want it even more. And that's what you do when you have fitness programs. You try on from a comfortable moment what it would be like to be that. And then when you get into the fitness program, you're like, I don't know if I want that or not. Ah, why did I want it? And I got to do all of this, and I got to eat what? And how long is this going to take? And you said it was going to last 6 weeks, and it's been 6 weeks, and I don't have any muscles yet, and I've only lost 2 pounds, and how long is it going to take? And I don't know if I want it. And then you start to make it be about you. It's never about you. And it's nothing wrong with trying on something and saying to yourself, this is not it. I thought I wanted it. It doesn't make you a bad person that you thought you wanted it, and when you tried it on, now I don't really want it anymore. Maybe you need Zumba, maybe you need dance, maybe you need another fitness program, maybe you need aerobics, maybe you need a walking program, but don't make it about you. You make you, your personhood, the failure because your well-intended parents made you feel guilty about you. There's nothing wrong with you. You are the most purposeful, motivated, beautiful, created person on the planet. There's nobody like you. Nobody. You make it about you. It's okay to make that decision, to try something on and get it and say, I no, I don't want it. That is not for me. I need this. The goal is to keep moving. And then I've seen women, maybe they do want it. Maybe I did want to become strong by Zumba. Maybe I just was missing a resource. Maybe I needed somebody to teach me. Maybe I needed one on one. Maybe I needed somebody to actually show me how to count my macros, how to prioritize my protein so that I can develop muscles. Maybe you're missing a resource. Maybe you do want it. And all of this time, you've been missing the resource and you don't have a plan. The plan before was to give up because you didn't like how you felt. Or maybe, and this is a tough one for a lot of people, maybe you realize you didn't want it at all. Another story, I remember wanting natural hair, and I would look online at all of the beautiful Bantu knots and the braids and the natural hair. And I was like, oh my God, what would it be like not to have a relaxer anymore, not to sit in the salon anymore? Oh gosh, I really want natural hair. And all they say is, I just have to let my perm grow out, right? Yeah. So I went on this quest, I went on this journey, and I let my perm grow out. And then it had these little really straight ends. And then I was like, well, what do I do now? And somebody said, well, you just cut the ends off. So I cut the ends off and I looked online. And why doesn't my hair look like that? And I braided it up and I put these sponge rollers. And when I take my hair loose, it doesn't look like that. And someone says, where there's 1A, 1B, 1C. You may have 4A hair, 4C, 4B. All of these different textures of hair. You mean to tell me I got to learn all of this about natural hair? And nobody told me this. And now I don't have a perm and I've spent all this money on all of these products. And I come to the conclusion that, and this is what you do when you purchase fitness programs and you go on a diet and you keep yo-yo dieting and and you do keto and you get on the wagon and off the wagon again and then you say I've discovered I really don't want natural hair at all, and if I do I want something low maintenance. And so one day in the bathroom I made a pact with myself and I said, you know what, I don't want natural hair at all, not like that. And so I decided to cut my hair to fit me. I didn't make it about me. I tried it on to see what it was like, and I didn't feel guilty. I didn't feel bad about cutting all of my hair off because it fit, it worked for me. It didn't take away my personhood at all. But we make decisions based off of how you feel and not the data. You give up based off of how you feel and not the data. You started off on a fitness journey. You started off on a walking program. You started off working out with a friend or buddy, and you'll tell yourself, "Well, each time I do this, my buddy stops walking with me, and I might as well stop too. And we all good together. And every time we do this, this happens." No, you've reached a failing point. How do you overcome that? And that is what your why nots are all about. How to overcome. See, when you decide what you really, really want, because if you want to be fit, healthy, and strong and get into shape, then you will become fit, healthy, and strong and get into shape. You will. Um, you'll learn how to overcome that. You've reached failing points. It's nothing personal. It's nothing about you. And my girlfriend, the one with the donut, she said, "But I go to the grocery store." She said, "Kim, another thing is I want to eat healthier." I said, "So what happens when you go to the grocery store?" She said, "Well, I get in the grocery store and I don't know what to buy. I come home with all this stuff. I purchased all this food and I don't know what to do with it." And I said, "Well, what was your health plan before you went to the grocery store? You want to become healthy?" She said, "What do you mean? The plan is to become healthy." I said, "No, that is the higher level plan. The higher level plan is to be healthy. That is your higher level get fit plan. That is your higher level lose weight plan. What is your plan to get there? What foods did you write down before you got to the grocery store? What did you plan to eat all week long? What do you plan to eat for breakfast? What do you plan to eat for lunch? How do you plan to eat when you go out with friends? That is your get fit plan. That is your lose weight plan. That is your health plan. That is getting into the best shape of your life plan. Wanting to get healthy, wanting to develop muscles, that is your higher level plan. So, we all have an ideology. We all know what we want to be and what we want to become. But here's what happens when you talk to yourself and when you tell yourself things. The dialogue starts. Fear takes over. A lot of self-doubt comes up because you've been in that space before. And then we have the people in our lives, those well-intended people. How did you regain, Kim, 100 pounds after you lost 80? Well, let me share a story with you. We all have core commitments, and you're all committed to whatever you're committed to. My core commitment is safety. Safety. I feel safe when I have a plan. I don't feel safe when I don't plan because I don't know what comes next. So, my core commitment, I am committed to safety. And so, if I don't plan, I don't feel safe. And I know that. That's some internal work. Most of us jump on fitness plans and fitness programs without doing the internal work first. And so, how did I regain 100 pounds? Well, my well intended, the love of my life, the love for 20 years, told me after I had lost weight, he said, and a lot of this happens to women that I come across, people in their lives, well intended statements. You still working out? You still eating that? How long are you going to eat that? What does that taste like? You got to work out forever? You're getting too small. I liked you better when you were that size. You look better. You look sick now. Well intended. Those comments are well intended, those well intended statements. And so, my well intended statement was to me, you're getting too small. And so, what happened was, I did not, my core commitment is safety. So, I wanted people in my life to feel safe. I wanted to create a safe environment for my children, for my house. And so, I just stopped working out because it threatened the relationship. Women will do that because we're feelers. You will just stop, right? You won't step into the conflict. You will avoid it. Let me give you an example. I had a lady one time and her husband, he told her, he said, how long are you going to be working out? You've been on this journey. And how long is this program? Because I am used to you coming home every evening, taking care of these children, having my food ready when I get home, keeping this house clean, and you're talking about you're working out and you're working out for how long? How long is this going to go on? And who told you to make these changes? And you can't blame the poor guy. Anytime that there is suffering, and that's what happens when you make change in your life, it causes other people to become uncomfortable. They are suffering because you are changing. Your children, mom, my children, I have I have adults, I don't have children, I have adults. Why are you doing that? And how long are you going to be working out? And why can't we call you whenever we want to call you? No, I have boundaries. No, I have boundaries. They want to punish. People want to punish. So her husband wants to punish her because she has boundaries. People in your life, that's what happens when people suffer. They want to punish. When you embarrassed your parents as children, you were punished. You were punished. Your well intended parents punished you. That's what we do to people. We shame them, we punish them, we make them have fear, right? And if you don't stop working out, if you don't have my food ready when I get home, if you don't go with me anytime I want you to go with me on Friday night, Saturday night, no, 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 no. This is not what we do. You are supposed to eat fish and wine with me. That's what my new love said. He said, So you're never going to eat fish again or drink anymore? No, I'm not. That works for me. And so he's uncomfortable with that. And you can't blame the person because the person that I married is not the person that you've become. You've become somebody else, right? And when the person starts to change, we don't like it. We have all these feelings. Your significant other has all of these feelings on the inside of them. The more you change, the more they want you to remain the same. And so the punishment gets greater and greater and greater and greater until you completely stop, avoid the conflict, you give in, you concede, and you go back to being comfortable. Now everything is nice and quiet and everything is back to normal. We can all be normal now because mom is home at 6 o'clock. She's not doing this walking thing anymore. She's not taking care of herself. She's not going to the gym. She's not eating salad while she made us lasagna. And she's not asking us what we want to eat. We're all eating together. We're all sitting down and eating as a family. And you can do that and eat what you want. And I can do that and eat what I want. And we can all still be happy. People don't understand your change. They won't. And you can't blame them. You're making them feel very uncomfortable. So that is a failing point. How do you overcome when you make people in your life feel uncomfortable and then they turn around and punish you for it? Do you walk into the conflict of it all? Or do you just totally let your life go? What do you do? What do you do? So I regained 100 pounds because I totally let my life go. And a little bit of part of me, I didn't have any more responsibility of going to the gym or monitoring my food. I was comfortable. I became comfortable with that. It is very uncomfortable to manage your life. You don't have time to manage anybody else's when you're managing your own, and people become uncomfortable with you. And so there will be failing points along this journey. And in today's homework, you're going to have to look at it and write down. Here's your challenge. I want you to write down all of the things that could possibly go wrong. You don't have enough time in your day to work out. Why? That's a failing point. You didn't have time to go to the grocery store. Why? That's a failing point. You didn't walk this morning. Why? That's a failing point. The alarm clock went off and you hit the snooze button. That's a failing point. You're working a lot of shifts at work and you're telling yourself, I don't have time to take care of myself. I'm at work. That's a failing point. See, the only way that you can make this journey a lifetime journey for you is mitigating the risk. That's what the plan is. That's your Get Fit plan. That's your Get Fit program. It's not the exercises, it's not the food, it's mitigating and overcoming the risk. What could go wrong? I'm going to Virginia next week for Christmas. I'm already mitigating the risk. How do you overcome to get the thing that you need? And here's what I want to say to you. When you really want something, and this is how I know when people really want it. When they really want it or if they reached a failing point. When you really want something, see what you want has to be greater than the hard thing that you have to overcome. Anything that you want has to be greater than the hard things in your life to overcome. Think about that newborn baby that you brought home, right? Oh, it was all cute. You saw the stories on TV, and it's going to be wonderful, nice. We're going to be this family of three, four, and I'm going to rock the baby, and he's going to be nice. I'm going to do the nursery. But after about 2 weeks of suffering, and this baby won't cry, stop crying, what's your alternative? You learn to overcome, you learn how to mitigate risk. Same thing. This is your Get Fit program. That's your weight loss program. When you learn how to overcome, see, you're not a failure. You will have failing points. on this journey. You will have failing points in life, in your career, in your marriage, in your relationships, with your children, with the people that you love. We all reach failing points. And I want you to teach this to your family members. You yourself are not the failure. You're not. You're not a failure. You are the most perfect human being on the planet. Nobody else has your DNA. So here's your homework. And if you registered for this motivation and mindset fitness challenge, your homework will be sent to your email. If not, the homework will be in the features section when you go to download it, right, to your computer, to your hard drive. It will be there. I want you to really think about your journey, how many times you've been on and off the wagon, what got in your way, who got in your way. And now that you know that you are not a failure, you can start over at any time you get ready. You can, because all you've experienced in your life are failing points. You are not a failure. You can start over today. And if you have failing points along the way, write those down. I want you to share them in this group because other women need to know your failing points. I reached a failing point when I put on 100 pounds. I didn't do the inner work. So the person that told me they liked me better, right? I tried to please them, not myself. I tried to please them and not me. More than ever, women are conflict avoiders. 90% of the world are conflict avoiders. Step into the conflict, resolve the issue, resolve the problem. But here's what happens to women. Here's what happens to you, your husband, your significant other. We go silent. We don't talk for weeks. He's going to notice me. He's going to know I'm angry. He didn't do those dishes today. He's going to know I'm upset. And in the meantime, we're eating all of our emotions. We're stuffing it down. We're conflict. I don't want to step into the conflict because what will happen? And if you grew up in a very volatile family, right, where there was a lot of things that were not safe, you will be a conflict avoider. And there are ways to stand up for yourself and to be assertive. And when I told my husband now, the husband I have now, I said, I'm going to bodybuild. And he was at the refrigerator and I was at the kitchen table. He said, I don't want you bodybuilding. I said, well, I'm not asking for permission. I'm asking because I want to know how we can come together and work towards a support system for the marriage. See, the marriage is not you, the marriage is the unit that you share with another individual. The relationship on your job, in your career, is a unit that you share with other individuals. With your children, it is a shared unit. But for women, we make it so much about us, and it shows up in our bodies, in our health, in our hair, in our illnesses that we carry, right? High blood pressure, diabetes, stomach issues, nerve condition, mental illness, all of the things that you are afraid to step into. You avoid with other things. So, it's been over 40 minutes. Here's your homework for today. I want you to take some time out. I want you to think back. Why does this mean so much to you to get into the best shape of your life? What has kept you at the place that you're in? I want you to write down all of the things that get in your way and how you will overcome them. How will you mitigate the risk? Because that's what stops you. You cannot stop life. There will never be a perfect time, ever, ever. January 1 or December 31st, July 4th or June 30th. There will never be a perfect time. If you're waiting on a perfect time to start, there will never be a perfect time. You have to learn to overcome risk, mitigate risk. You have to develop your plan. That is your Get Fit plan. And you have to become strong enough to stand up for yourself, to step into the conflict. You got to be good with it. All right. I look forward to seeing what you're going to share in the group. I'm here to help you overcome.